Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm an Atlanta area personal bankruptcy attorney, and today I'd like to talk to you about what I would call special challenges that apply if you're self-employed and you want to file Chapter 13. And the gist of all this is that bankruptcy really runs on specific numbers. Chapter 13 used to be called the wage earner plan because everybody who filed Chapter 13 got a paycheck. And they got the same paycheck every 2 weeks or every month or every twice a month. And so it's easy to figure out what their budget was. The problem is if you're self-employed, you may not get the same paycheck every month. You may have a draw. You may have business expenses. But Chapter 13 runs on very specific numbers. So when we do a budget in Chapter 13, we're actually doing two budgets. One is we're doing a pro forma budget for the means test, where we're going to look at your income for the 6 months prior to the month you're filing. And then we're going to do a budget that reflects real life, what you're actually earning now. So the first thing you need to be aware of is if your income was much lower or much higher than it is now, that could create a problem in Chapter 13. It's probably actually better if your income is lower in previous months than if it's higher, because if it's in higher, the presumption in Chapter 13 is going to be that you're making that higher figure. If it's lower, it's going to be easier to qualify at a cheaper price. So generally speaking, if you're filing Chapter 13 and you're self-employed, it's better if your income is lower for the 6 months, the last 6 months than it would be if it was higher. Second thing is that we need to know exactly what you are earning, and we're going to need documentation for that. So that means we're going to need pay stubs, we're going to need ledger sheets, we're going to need anything we can do to prove what you're actually earning. If you're getting paid cash, I need to know about that, because I can't tell you how frustrating it is when I'm trying to put together a budget and my client says, well, I'm earning around $1,100 every 2 weeks, or I'm earning around $3,000 a month. That doesn't help me, because what's going to happen when we get into court is the trustee is going to say, I want proof, I want evidence. So we got to have evidence of what you were actually earning. And I realize sometimes that's hard to come by, because if you're self-employed, you may have a month you don't take any money, or you may have a month where you're taking a lot less, or you have a good month, let's say you're self-employed in real estate and you have a couple big commissions. But we got to know about that. So you got to be very, very specific about what your earnings are, what any self-employment expenses might be, and then projecting forward what that's all going to look like over the next 5 years, because realize Chapter 13 is going to last 3 to 5 years. 5 years is a long time, 3 years is a long time, but 5 years is a really long time. And so if we're going to put you in a Chapter 13, we got to have a pretty good idea of what you're going to be earning. And we're going to need to have documentation of that. Because when you're in the 13 and you're self-employed, the trustee is going to ask you for probably a quarterly report about your earnings, and certainly an annual report. So we're going to have to show what your earnings have been. If they go up, the trustees are going to want more money. If they go down, it's a challenge to go down, because generally speaking, when I do a 13, I do it in such a way where I'm assuming things are not going to, that things are not going to get any worse. And we're using every dime we have to do to make this all work. So it's really hard to go down. So if you see your income decreasing while you're in a 13, that's going to make it a real uphill battle. So ideally, you're in a 13 because you think things are bad now or tough right now. You're in a tough spot. You have a cash flow crunch, or you have a bunch of bad things are about to happen, a foreclosure, repossession, garnishment, something like that. But they're going to get better down the road. We can go into a 13 and we can adjust upwards, but it's hard to adjust downwards. But whatever is going to happen, if we're going to go into a 13, I've got to have accurate, literally to the penny information about your income and about your expenses for that matter, because bankruptcy, Chapter 13 in particular, runs on exact data. And I can't tell you how many times a trustee will object if we put in information that cannot be backed up. We say that your insurance is X. Let me see a copy of the bill. If it turns out that it's $200 less than we thought it was going to be, then the trustee's going to want that extra $200. So the more exact you can be with your numbers and your budget, the easier it's going to be to make your Chapter 13 work. And I will tell you that if you're self-employed, 13 trustees put a lot more pressure on you in terms of keeping an eye on your case and moving to dismiss it if you miss a payment. So if you're paying your Chapter 13 directly, you're going to be under a lot of scrutiny that if you miss any payments, the trustee is going to be very quick on the draw to kick that case out and to move to dismiss it. It's a lot harder to make a Chapter 13 work if you're self-employed. If you know what to expect, you can make it work, but it's very, very difficult because the numbers have to be exact, and when you're self-employed, a lot of times those numbers are not exact, but you got to get in that mindset. If you want to make a 13 work and you're self-employed, I've got to have specific numbers. So I hope you found this helpful. Let me know what you think. Is that fair? What has your experience been? Are you able to provide those specific numbers? Please let me know. Share it with the community of viewers here. We've got a lot of people that have a lot of interesting things to say about Chapter 13 and bankruptcy in general. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I respond to every single comment. Please like this video if you found it useful. Give it a thumbs up on YouTube and on Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like our Facebook page. A lot of good information on the Facebook page. From Ginsberg Law Offices, we do, besides the bankruptcy, we do disability work and we do workers' comp. A lot of good information about those areas as well. And if I can be of assistance to you, please reach out to me. My website is at www.glolaw.com. You can learn all about our firm and about our staff. And any questions that I can answer for you or anybody at the firm can answer for you, please reach out to us. Happy to help you in any way we can. My name again is Jonathan Ginsberg, and I do look forward to hearing from you soon. Thanks a lot. Hi, this is Jonathan, and I hope you found this video helpful. I'd like to invite you to download my free Debt Destroyer Survival Kit right now. I've packed my survival kit with answers to the questions I've heard from clients for over 25 years here in the Atlanta area. Inside the survival kit, you'll find clear, easy to understand answers to critical topics about how to solve debt problems once and for all, including how do I protect my stuff, my house, car, and personal property if I file for bankruptcy? Are there any legitimate alternatives to bankruptcy? Will I ever get credit again, and if so, when? What mistakes must I avoid to get the most benefit out of bankruptcy? You can claim your copy right now by visiting my atlanta-bankruptcy.com website. And you are always welcome to use the email form on my website to ask me anything about debt and personal bankruptcy in Atlanta. www.atlanta-bankruptcy.com. And as always, I wish you the best.